The 2 massive strokes that had felled him during the week following his son's disappearance had been so severe that doctors doubted he would ever walk or talk again. The first had completely incapacitated the left side of his body, and the second had reduced him to a state of motionless coma. Portia found that her time at his bedside gave her an opportunity to talk without any fear of being misunderstood. "No news, Daddy," she would say, closing the door of the private room, drawing up a chair and offering the latest scrap of news. Calling him Daddy gave her a secret and almost erotic thrill. Someone was seen in Scarborough, but it was another false alarm. She would talk on, pouring out whatever came into her mind, every now and again finding opportunities to emphasize Ned's name in a sentence, and glancing across to see if that one mention might be the lowered rope to pull Sir Charles from the well of his unconsciousness. One day, as she repeated to him for the 1,000th time the story of the afternoon Ned had come into the Hard Rock Cafe with his friends, there was a knock on the door. A doctor Portia had never seen before told her that he had spoken to Sir Charles's sister, Georgina. "It may be time to consider switching off the life support," he said, "and let the old fellow slip away." "But Ned is the next of kin," protested Portia, outraged. "It's his decision." "It's been over a month. We must face up to the fact that there is no chance of any change. Miss Madstone has said that she will think about it for a week before coming to any decision. I do not believe," the doctor added, "that you are a member of the family?" Back home at Hampstead, Pete explained that any decision of this kind in a private hospital would be based on financial rather than clinical considerations. "It'll be the insurance company, believe me," he said. "That kind of 24-hour intensive care is expensive. The money men will be the ones clamouring for the machines to be switched off." Gordon was surprised to hear this. "I thought England had a public health system." "A public health system?" Pete snorted. "That'll be the day." "Oh, God, here we go," thought Portia. Gordon should have known better than to walk into that one. There'll be no stopping Pete now. In fact, Peter was only warming up when Hilary came downstairs, demanding to know what clothes he wanted to take on what he had been rather grandly calling his Northern Ireland fact-finding trip. It always amazed Portia that her mother, such an ardent and devoted feminist on paper and in conversation, should spend so much time, when it came to the realities of everyday life, looking after Pete's every need. From childhood on, Portia had never seen her father so much as pick up a sock, let alone wash one. Hilary cooked for him, shopped for him, washed his clothes and packed his bags, and not once had Portia heard her complain. If all men truly were, as Hilary had written so many times, rapists, it seemed odd to Portia that they should be waited on like maharajas. As they discussed the wardrobe that would most make Pete look assured, supportive and at home on the streets of West Belfast, Gordon came up to Portia and suggested they leave Pete and Hilary and go for a walk somewhere. "All right then," she said, "let's go to the Flask, you'll like it." What is that, some kind of park?" "It's a pub, you'll like it." Gordon knew perfectly well what the Flask Inn was, since he had already been there twice in the company of Rufus Cade. He wanted Portia to have the pleasure of introducing him to it, however. He discovered early on that the more helpless and ignorant he appeared, the more she liked it. Gordon was used to that. Most of the girls he had known back home had been the same. "You guys make sure you're back by 11, Hilary insisted, "in time to say goodbye to Pete." A loud pealing came on the doorbell as they left the room, and Portia's heart gave a little jump. She had learned not to get too excited by the sound of the door or the telephone, but one day soon a call would come, and it would be the call. You never knew. "And see who that is," Pete shouted after them. "If it's not important, we're out." As they went downstairs, a huge bang shook the front door, as if a car had slammed into it. An even louder one followed, and the whole hallway shuddered. At the third bang, the front door splintered off its hinges and fell inwards with a crash, shattering the floor tiles and rocking the staircase. 3 men in gas masks and body armour stepped through. At precisely the same time, to the very second, there came a delicate tinkle of broken glass in the sitting-room above, followed by the thumping hiss of tear-gas canisters and the shrill, terrified screams of Hilary and Pete.